Good early morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the October Challenge. Today is October 2nd. It is 5:45 a.m. in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. And I am here with you this morning. And we are going to meditate together. Good morning, everyone. Kelly is also here. She's struggling to stay conscious over in her chair. We both ended up getting to bed around 11 last night because we had a bunch of things happening in the evening, and you always have to unwind a little bit. And I tell you, it's a little rough this morning at 4:45 when the alarm first went off. The reason being, I don't like to get up and just run. You know, I like 2 snoozes about 10 minutes long in there. So it certainly is a morning, that's for sure. And there is no better way than to start the morning with meditation. And, one of the reasons being is that our mind is already quiet. And one of the worst things that we tend to do is wake up in the morning and grab our devices, get ourselves online right away. And even in some cases where you have work to do, or, I don't consider it work so much really, but, the caring for the Awaken the World page and looking after the posts and videos, etc. And you really want in the morning to avoid contact with things that are going to fill your head first thing. Allow yourself a little bit of time in the morning to enjoy being consciously aware of the quiet, of the silence, of the stillness. And until you begin to wake up, in times past in my life too, I certainly remember where being in a big dance club full of loud music and jostling people was, somehow fun at the time. And I look back at that and I understand in that level of consciousness that was great. But there is something in the stillness. Something so vast, so magnificent, so wonderful. And it's only when you allow yourself to experience that silence, to seek that silence and that stillness, that everything within the silence becomes evident. It really does. So hopefully no one's having any troubles finding this morning. I see Debbie's just popped on. Good morning, Debbie, from across the pond, although it's evening for you. And, I just want to say how blessed we feel to have people in this group from all over the world. It really does. You help enrich our lives. We love watching your stories. We love participating with you in your story. And as always, I am here for you. Never doubt it. You can talk to me at any time. And I believe actually that we're going to meditate. Going to have a nice meditation this morning. So day 2 is all about healing the fractured self. And we talked about the fractures that happen, when ego splits. And you don't just have one I in your head, and this is what happens. The current right now moment of I that I think I am, wants to do the meditation, wants to stay physically fit, wants to experience peace and tranquility and harmony and all of those things. And there are other I's within me still. Those are still me at that iceberg level, right? We're still sitting and looking at our sense of self-consciousness, the I consciousness, the ego. And even though it is truly a false sense of self, as I've always reminded you, do not mistake the value of it. It is not something to throw away or to try to throw away. As a matter of fact, you can never get rid of it. What it is a case of is refining that sense of self, growing that sense of self. And really what happens is you're expanding your sense of self. Until one day, the borders that you thought represented the limit of I, of what you see yourself as, simply start to dissolve away. And you will find yourself growing larger and larger and larger. And we're not talking about through eating too many donuts. We're talking about your level of consciousness, your level of connectivity with all around you. We make a very common mistake in seeking that divine connection, and we're waiting for, the glowing light to appear at the corner of the room, and the angelic white being to appear and lay its hand on our head, and things to magically change somehow. And what we forget is that every day, in a myriad number of ways, that's exactly what is happening. The angels are our fellow human beings, our brothers and sisters. We are always supported and enveloped by and with each other. Whether we happen to agree with it or want it, it's a reality of our existence. We are in this together. And in your head, you are really more of a we than an I. A lot of those I's you don't see. They're eyes from a former you, eyes from when you were young, eyes when certain things have happened in your life, and your ego will fracture to protect itself. And these dissonant energies that remain in our being sabotage us without us really being aware of it most times. Now that you understand that in those moments of unconsciousness where you feel like you weren't even really there, and you're wondering how the argument happened or how you blew your top, you can understand that indeed it wasn't the present I that is behaving that way. It is a version, an I-self version of you that is engaged in a reaction to a past event that is being mimicked today, or that it feels the same way about. There's enough things to trigger it. And in the moment it's triggered, of course, you cease to be who you are now, and you literally become who you were then. And the conscious I that you feel you are today is subsumed by the I you were then. And drama unfolds. And then you'll find yourself waking up from that and being a little confused at first, like, what just happened? Today's meditation is about bypassing a lot of the work to go digging for that and allowing our being to reintegrate, to encourage all of those other eyes in our head to come home. And in coming through the door, transform their vibration, lose that dissonance, and return that energy back into the cradle of your being and make it available for you. You will feel more powerful. You will feel more confident, more at peace with yourself when you allow those other parts of you to integrate back into yourself. And it really is an allowing. With that, we're going to begin. This morning's meditation, the mantra is Om, and you will find me using Shanti from time to time. Om, of course, is the realization of our universal consciousness, our universal self. Good morning, Kim. Nice and early in the morning, hey? That's early for us this morning. We were up a little late. It was a little hard getting up this morning. And of course, Shanti is peace. Not necessarily the peace of two soldiers on opposing armies across a battlefield, but a deeper, more pervasive sort of peace. I call it a steady ground vibration, that sense of beingness. And when you remain in touch with that sense of beingness, you cannot help but feel peace in your being. So with that, I would ask you to have a little sip of your coffee or tea or whatever if you need this morning. I know I'm going to take a little sip. I would ask that you find a comfortable position. Meditation is not about relaxation and sleep. Meditation is about relaxed, attentive awareness. You are coming to your own feet, the feet of your own higher self. Sitting before someone you revere, a master that you would revere, you would not sit slouched, half falling asleep over in the corner. You would sit as close to the master as possible and pay attention to listen to the wisdom. And of course, that inner guru is within you right now. And we are going to pay attention and listen to that wisdom. Take a deep, conscious breath. Position is not important this morning, although I encourage you to ensure that your back is in its natural, curved, upright position. Gentle curve to the spine. You want to try and keep your head up. Keep those channels of energy open. A second deep, relaxing breath, and we'll begin. In your mind's eye, picture that meadow of light and love. It's crisp out. The whisper of leaves falling from the trees. The changing colors. The dying off of old ways, old concepts, old modes of being. We come to our sacred circle. Take our well-worn cushions and meet at that gateless gate. Surrounded, supported by the myriad number of our brothers and sisters who have sat before this gate before. In your mind's eye, you find yourself standing in front of that giant mirror once more. The current, present moment version of you is evident in the reflection. Not only do you recognize your body, your face, the vehicle you are using for this physical journey, but you sense there is more. Gaze at your current image. Look deep into your own eyes and send a clear, compassionate message to yourself. I love you. I love you just as you are. I love you in this moment. Shanti, Shanti. As you gaze into the mirror, I want you to give yourself permission. Permission to reveal all the selves within you. To expose all your remembrances of pain. To look closely at the wounds you feel you have carried at various times in your life. As you grant yourself permission for this, other beings begin to appear in the reflection. Unsure at first, you realize that each of those beings appearing in the reflection is still you. Soon, looking at your reflection, you see a myriad number of yourself. You see a young child, and you realize it is you. Everywhere you look in your reflection, images of yourself, various times of your life, all of those versions of I are present with you. In your physical and conscious evolution, nothing is ever lost. Looking more closely, you see that many of these versions of you from various times in your existence look pained. Some of them are sobbing, outright crying. Some have their fists balled in anger, the rage vibrating from their being. Some of these versions of you are smiling. Some are deathly afraid, worried that they're doing wrong. Everywhere you look, a version of you is reflected back, a teeming mass of you. You understand in a moment of realization that each of these versions of you was and are an integral part of your being. From your place of conscious awareness now, you understand the events of your life. You see past your judgments. You can begin to see glimpses of the perfection of your journey here. Each of the faces of you that you see in the reflection require healing in some way. The childlike you, the teenager you, the you that experienced lost love, the you that yearns to be something more. All of these versions of you even though they appear to be without, they are within the whole of your being. Looking at that reflection, you reach out and surround every version of yourself in your loving arms. Say out loud, say to all these selves, it's okay. You are healed. We are whole. I am one. It's okay. We we are healed. I am one. Slowly, watch and allow each of those versions of yourself see how they begin to smile. Watch the glow that appears around the childlike version of you. Seeing through the pain. You are grateful for the evolution of your being. One by one, slowly but surely, each of the versions of yourself wrap their arms around you. And are melded, disappearing in the divine light of your being. One by one. A sense of peace growing. Shanti. 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 Faster now. The mirrored versions of you, now moving boldly, with confidence, marching back into your arms, melding back into your being, increasing your sense of wholeness, of fullness. You are healed. You are whole. You see now how all of your judgments have made no difference to the evolution, the lovingly, excuse me, the lovingly guided evolution of your being. Look closely at that mirror. A new you stands before the reflection. This new you appears somehow fuller, whole, complete. At peace with oneself. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, 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 Observe the silence. Look closely at the complete you see in the reflection. You understand now that the wounds and the experiences that you have judged as negative no longer scar your being. In your present moment awareness, you understand the loving journey. The best teachers, the ones who appear to harm us the most, are actually the most loving gift. From this moment on, how you judge your existence will never be the same. Every day, you will become more and more aware of the loving arms that enfold your being. Gaze into your eyes one last time in that mirror. See the fullness of your being reflected back to you. Say to yourself, I love you. Shanti, 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 Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. There is a new peace within your being. Revel in that new sense of wholeness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. with a deep, relaxing breath. Allow yourself to return to the body state. Slowly, when you are ready. Allow your newly integrated self to open your eyes. That's this morning's meditation. Throughout today, and if you have time prior to the meeting, this evening's meditation, take some time and allow the mantra Om Shanti, 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 Shanti Om, to stay with you today. You've taken a huge step past all of the, necessary counseling a lot of people would feel they need. Moving to directly bring all those fractured selves back home, back together. Much love to you this morning. And I will post as soon as possible as to the meditation time this evening. Namaste.